Minister, I would like to thank you for coming into the House today to hear this debate on the upcoming referendum which you are spearheading and the constitutional change that is necessary so we can enshrine the protection of our children in Bunreacht and Heron. And I want to commend you as Minister as well for not only all the great work that you've done thus far, but also your department for moving to prioritise this so early in the term of government. It quite simply would not have come to fruition so soon without the great work done by you and your department, and also the role played by a Galway man, Jeffrey Shannon, the Special Rapporteur on Child Protection. There's been much scaremongering and philosophising about this amendment by a conservative wing of Irish society, which must be quelled in the interests of protecting our children. This legislation is quite simply necessary. We have seen situations where lack of legislation in this area has caused awful emotional, psychological and physical atrocities to children throughout Ireland. It has decimated family units in some parts of the country, this being the very unit given special protection in our constitution. But the state is not about to become a nanny state. Rather, it will ensure that the horrific failings, such as the incestuous scandals, which racked the west of Ireland in recent years, and more particularly in Sligo and Roscommon, will be ameliorated, if not avoided. The lives of these children have been destroyed by the action of one or other parent and the inaction of the state. This is possibly only a dip in the ocean. I'm sure there are other episodes of human abuses which will never see the light of day and we will never know about. But in light of the horrendous way they were all abused by the people who should have cared for them most, and the fact that government could not intervene because of a lack of legislation allowing for this shows a crystal clear failing in the state's legislative armour. But we must strive to ensure episodes such as the aforementioned never happens again, and we as legislators must create the right legislative conditions in order to ensure this. And this is a move that must be welcomed and not countenanced. It is clear from literal interpretation that the wording has struck a balance between the rights of children to be protected in a way which simultaneously does not undermine the rights of their parents, unless, of course, they have failed that child. It is imperative that the state gets rights to intervene in exceptional cases. Exceptional is the key word here. Not every case, but exceptional cases. Too much has happened to children in the not-too-distant past, which meant their well-being has been ignored as a consequence of the glaring absence of legislative provision in Irish law to protect these most vulnerable section of our society. Under this new law being proposed, the state will be duty-bound to ensure that any intervention will be carried out by proportionate means as provided by law. This means that the onus will be on the state to prove it is using adequate means to do so. This amendment will ensure that there is no ambiguity with regard to our children and their rights. It will be a matter of law, set out in our highest law in this land, the Constitution. It will permit the state to protect children as children, without having to have recourse to their parents, who may very well be their greatest enemy, as was seen in the abuse cases in Sligo and Roscommon. In all the circumstances, I want to commend this amendment to the House, and I would strongly urge a yes vote in the referendum on Saturday, November the 10th. Thank you, Minister, for coming here today.